I'm on my way to go and test drive the new Pan America Harley Davidson, and then we'll compare it and see how it compares to my GS. Okay, I'm looking forward to the new experience. Thank you. I will bring it back in one piece, hopefully.
That'll be good.
Yeah. I've got to get used to where this. Hey, okay. Do it with the heel.
Yeah, that's so you just get to so there, and then you just.
And I can just feel it drop down already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Found the bike very nimble here, and just you don't feel, it looks big, it feels big, it seems big, but it's you can throw it around quite easily.
It feels very different to the GS. It's very light, actually, just comparing it to the GS, because that's really what my frame of reference is. So the back brakes taking some getting used to, although I use both brakes.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's probably just getting used to it, you know. So, and then when you open the juice or whatever, like I did earlier there, I mean, it just responds very quick.
Quite impressed, eh?
I must tell you, you know, it's more than I expected, to be honest with you, you know. But it's a completely different ride to the GS. With the GS, when you give the GS juice, it's a smooth and quick acceleration, almost like super bike-ish, you know. Whereas this one feels like, you know, it's got that Harley feel to it. And then it, but when you're going, and like I was just nipped between those cars, it was very responsive. Have you ever seen something like this? I mean, it's like just different, eh?
Yeah, that's mooi, né?
Yeah, I must say, it looks so much nice compared to the pictures, Rodney. I must say, I'll look twice at this bike again compared to.
Dit is mooi. Hulle het mooi gemaak, hoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more pleasing it is. You know, the more it grows on you.
Die foto's wat hy op die net sien.
Yes.
Doen nie.
Justice nie. Ek stem saam 100%. Hy lyk op die foto's lyk reusagtig hiervoor, maar eintlik is dit nie. En ek meen, I like the black, hè.
Ja, ek dink hulle konsentreer eers op hierdie vierkantige lig voor.
Yes.
Dat hulle die foto's dan lyk dit,
Yes.
want die lig het vir my op die foto's gelyk. Dit lyk so 'n fucking cardboard.
Maar nou lyk dit vir my baie mooi. I mean, I like the way it's blended. And look, I mean, it's ja, dis 'n hele nuwe ontwerp van hulle.
Hoe klink hy?
Hy het 'n exhaust pipe, aftermarket exhaust pipe op. Nee. Maar hy voel as hy wegtrek of ek ry en ek idle, hy voel daai Harley gevoel.
Klank.
Nee, nie so klank nie, maar daai, I don't know, it's like a thump, you know, kind of a thumping kind of a feel it feels to it, whatever. Not that smoothness. And then when you accelerate, drop the handle, it then goes, and then you sort of lose that thunk kind of a feel, you know, to it. That's how it feels to me. So, en ek meen, ek vergelyk dit met ek het 'n GS BMW, die 1250.
Ja.
So ek het hom nou by die winkel gelos. So ons doen ons net 'n toetsrit op die oomblik. So hy werk so Check Osaka. Het jy gesien Osaka?
Yeah.
So the moment you stand near the stop street or whatever, it drops
That's right.
automatic suspension. You see, and it's got an aftermarket exhaust pipe on it. So okay. Nice, you got to just get used to it, I must say. I mean, quite pleasantly surprised, I must be honest with you. It's a bit low. Did you hear the knocks on the when you climb the pavement a bit there? So
You don't think it can be adjusted?
yeah, I'm not too sure if the height can be adjusted, but the point is it's a bit of a concern.
Was it on the bottom that it hit?
Yeah, on the bottom of the plate. So
Yes, it's a nice bike, eh?
I must say there's a couple of things I'm not too fond of, Rodney, is this thing that clips off like this, the screen that sort of when it's on the highest mode and you kind of forget it and it bumps like that kind of thing would put me off a little bit. So you know, I might forget it when I'm on a trip that it's up and then I bump it, whatever. So that's the thing. This also looks a little bit, yeah, dodgy, you know what I'm saying to you. Just so there's a couple of things I don't like about it, but for, you know, I'm compared to my first impression, I thought this bike is actually quite nice. It rides nice. I mean, this is exposed, but I mean, the fact that it's got the crash bars,
Yeah.
I mean, without it, it's a
I wouldn't do it without.
no, then you shouldn't be riding off-road, because you're going to have that little slip and slide maybe, and then you screw up the whole radiator thing.
What surprises me is it's actually a big bike, but it's got a small.
Yes, I definitely feel the weight is an improvement compared to the GS. There's no question about it, and it feels quite nimble. I just think you got to get used to it. You know, it's like every bike that you ride, you know, they're different.
Yes.
And you're going to have to get used to it. So,
I must say, this is something I could go for.
yeah, you see.
Yes.
So as low down as what it is, you've got to be careful when you climb a pavement or whatever, because the ground clearance can be a bit of a issue. But I suppose it's a setting on the shock that you could use.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those would be the concerns. It definitely needs all these extras to protect the exposed parts. So I like that. But I mean, those are all options. Anyway, that's my 10 cents worth. I surprisingly like it, actually.
Yes.
And it's not as hideous looking as the pictures make it out to be. In actual fact, it's growing on me, and the more I look at it, the more I actually find it quite
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah. And I must tell you, to be honest with you, I think the black is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Seat is comfortable.
Yeah.
Shit, nice and wide.
What do you think?
I think my wife would like the back. You know, it's not the kind of bike I would go riding and do trails and things like that. I mean, I'm going to ride farm roads with these things at best.
Yes.
Over mountain passes.
Yeah.
You know, tar road, a lot of it. And but I mean, let's face it. I mean, what are we all using our bikes for? GS. I use it to go everywhere. I don't necessarily go and ride in mud baths and in streams and two-spur tracks all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, I climb the pavement on my GS, it doesn't hit through, you know, so I think I like the steering damper. I mean, that's a nice thing for stability. I mean, on the GS, I feel such a difference with the steering damper versus the bikes without. I had a different mindset when I looked at the pictures and whatever, you know, I thought to myself, okay, well, and now that I've seen it in real life and ridden it, it's actually not a bad motorcycle. 420,000 rand is a bit steep for me. Yeah, 420,000 rand.
This should be sitting more at about 350 maybe.
Yeah, I should.
3 actually.
Yeah.
In fact, what is that new 1250?
It's about 360, I think, the new 1250 is, whatever. Okay, so it's hold and it's like hold and then let go. Okay, let's take it back to the dealership and have a cup of coffee. That was a nice experience, nice ride, eh? Different from the GS, but like every bike is different, you know, every bike has its own DNA, so not unpleasant. A few things you got to get used to for me, you know, having coming off the GS. And I say, you know, is that, you know, that Harley, it's like riders versus the smooth ride or whatever, because the 1250's got a superbike feel to it, let me tell you. Now that's the difference between the 1250 and the 1200, and it's very responsive. It feels light. The ground clearance, I think, is going to be an issue. I climbed the pavement and yeah, it scrapes, so I don't know if it's just a setting or whatever, but I mean, I climb a pavement on my GS, it doesn't bang through. What I'm saying is, so this is
in the same mode.
In the same mode, road mode, same thing.
Yep.
It's a nice motorcycle. I mean, and in fact, I got a different impression compared to the pictures by far.
Yeah, this is a standard.
Okay.
That's a standard. But the skid plate, the pipe, and the grids, and the top box. That's all that was it. So yeah, you're going to look at more realistically. Look at 377.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That's the price.
Yeah.
The extras are extras.
Yeah, I mean on the. Okay, that was a nice test ride. Harley Davidson. Back on the GS. It's only fair to say though, I mean, if you spend 30,000 kilometers riding the GS, you feel at home on it very quickly compared to a bike you're just riding for the first time. So having said that, I think you can get used to the Harley. It's a nice, nimble bike.
Yeah, for the record, I'm not a professional motorcycle reviewer. However, I've had lot of experience in riding dual-purpose BMW GS in particular. I've ridden the air-cooled, and lately, well, my most recent motorcycle is the 1250 GS Adventure. I've had 6 adventures. This one is my 6th one. So, and I've travelled around Southern Africa extensively. I got the taste of Harley Davidson in 2006, and I had a variety of Harley Davidson. So I understand the passion behind the brand. To me, this motorcycle is adequate. It's good. I enjoyed the ride. It is versatile. I think it's a question of taste, each individual person. So my suggestion is you go out and ride the bike. I was pleasantly surprised, and I enjoyed the test ride.